The Full Melt Show is intended for a mature audience. It contains adult themes, adult content, and sometimes adult language. Listener discretion is advised.
Full Melt.
From NFL Game Day First joining us here. So we were noticing on your Twitter feed as well as on NFL.com some of the news that you were talking about the legalization of marijuana across the United States and some of the elections that went down on Tuesday and how that might have some ramifications in the NFL.
That's right, Rich. You know, the election really did welcome in several states who now view recreational marijuana use as legal. And from what I understand, talking to 10 owners and decision makers around the league, there's a changing attitude toward recreational marijuana use and the discipline associated with that. According to the majority of the people I've spoke with, they support the decriminalization of marijuana, either making it tougher again to be suspended for marijuana use, or in some cases, and some people I've spoken with believe that suspension should be off the table for marijuana use. Now, the NFLPA is studying marijuana as results to pain management. The NFL has said they will follow the science regarding potentially allowing medical marijuana. This will be something that will be a CBA issue, but it certainly seems that the owners and decision makers are going a certain way and following the country regarding marijuana use. Rich, let me give you one quick example from one owner who believes it is a competitive imbalance. If you are in, say, if you have a player in, say, Seattle gets put over, has possession for marijuana, he is not going to be arrested, not facing a suspension. If the same player has the same incidents in, say, Indianapolis, he would be suspended. One owner asked, is that even fair?
It's the Full Melt Show.
Are you high? What are you talking about?
It's the Full Melt Show, a marijuana discussion about news, culture, and entertainment. It's celebrity interviews, talks with politicos. Plus, your calls are on the air. Download the Full Melt app, free at the Apple and Android app stores. The Full Melt Show.
It's a hump day. Welcome to the Full Melt Show. Getting used to what's going on here today. I'll tell you what, the face of marijuana is changing across the nation. Like every day that goes by, new stuff is happening in the marijuana realm. We just picked up 4 states, 4 legal adult recreational states. A little too chaotic in here today. We got stuff shaking around in the studio today, and I'm just not used to that. Oh, good Lord! It's a crazy day in Marijuanaville. Let's just put it that way. But I don't know any days recently that are not crazy days in Marijuanaville. I'm your host, Steve Green. Boyd is trying to get this show off the ground today. And in a larger effort, getting rid of ashes here. In a larger effort, boy, they're everywhere, the ashes. Where did they all come from? Oh, I guess there could be larger problems, right? Just rushing into the studio today out of Walmart. Straight out of Walmart, boom, right into the studio. What are you going to do? The studio is remotely located now. What you've got? She's got no audio. Is that what you're saying? Let me see. You got to talk to me. You got a microphone. You got to say stuff. Yeah, but you got to say something though. So, is this thing on? There's a switch on it. So switch it on.
Well, it says off. Now is it on?
Yeah, there you go.
Okay.
Can you hear yourself?
No, I can't.
All right, so we got to fix that. Hang on a second. Let's just see. Why don't we do this experimenting when we're off the air? I don't get it.
I don't know.
I mentioned before we went on the air like several times. We're going on the air. Hello. Mic check, 1, 2. Hang on a second. All right, so, no, not that. I should be doing this. All right, where are we at here? Check.
I guess so.
Oh, this is terrible.
There we go.
What's going on with the electric spaghetti? I don't like it. Hello, hello. Check 1 2. Checky 1 2. Hello. I don't get it. So you might have to act without the headphones for now. I don't know.
It's fine. As long as people can hear me, that's the most important.
Yeah,
thing.
I can't hear you because I'm not listening to your headphones. Hang on a second. There's something wrong with these headphones, and it's in this wire. I know it is. Did this pull out before? I think it pulled out before. I don't know.
Well, meanwhile, I've got a Tootsie Roll Pop.
There's a reason, I guess, I don't have these particular headphones wearing them anymore. I used to... Oh, I got something. Just for a second. Oh, there. It's barely there.
Oh.
Hang on. Let's see. There we go. Now I got something. You know, I'm not going to do this on the air.
Okay.
Hang on. Nothing. All right. It's all in this little plug right here. There. Oh, see, it comes and goes.
Bad wiring.
It's right up. Damn it.
It's loose.
All right. There. If I let go of it, it goes away. I can't stand it. All right. I'm done with it. Take these.
Okay.
Let me never see them again the rest of the show.
Okay.
Those things need to be sent off in a burning fire on top of a raft. And why do you got to make all that noise over here while I'm on the air? You crazy studio dog.
Plug this into something?
No, it's gone. It's dead. It's done. Throw them away. Let me see them never again. Those headphones are not going to work. And now people are dinging me on the phone. No. All right. I'm just going to end this craziness right now. Ending it. No craziness. Okay. All right, so does your mic stretch around this way?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Since you're not, bound by the cord anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Are you eating suckers on the radio? Mm-hmm. Seriously?
I wanted to find out how many licks it took to get to the center of the Tootsie Roll Pop.
But while we're doing the show, you can't talk with a.
You'd be surprised what I can do.
It sounds
You
like
could be very surprised.
it's Charlie. It's like talking to Charlie Brown's mother. So can you hear me? Can look, all that noise is on the air, dude. All that rumbling and mic is all. What are you doing? I'm sitting down so you can see me now. Oh my God! All right, no, over here. I can't pull anymore. This shit's gonna happen. No, just come around. You can come around. But then my dog wants your cat. So leave. So we don't care about the cat or the dog. Oh my God! I can't pull it because it's not. So many distractions.
I'm just going to sit here and be done.
There.
This is it. This is as far as I go. It's all wound up down there.
I don't want to know about it. What?
I don't want to.
All this happens before you go on the air.
Dude, this is called improv.
No, this is not an improv show.
No, I'm just saying we got to improv.
Oh, I can't take that mic noise. You're killing me. You could turn the mic off. Oh my God. Because somebody got a bullet now. Just got a silver bullet. Anyone? I might need a silver bullet. See, this one is I scolded this one because he's making noise in the studio. That one, we got two studio dogs today. That's the part of the problem. Hey, and what's going on? All right. So Dave is texting me on the texter. You can't text me on the radio, Dave. I'm on the radio. Don't text me, dude. Ugh.
I'm ready.
I'm not ready in any way, shape, or form.
Let's just do it.
Do what? What are we doing here?
I'm not really sure. I think you have an audience that wants to listen.
Not anymore. I mean, we scared them all away. We came on like the frickin' Tasmanian devil. There's introduction music, and everybody's like, there's nobody sitting in the chair. There's noise everywhere. There's a dog who's still not being obedient in his spot. There's a cat over here freaking out because your dog is eyeing him up like he's dinner.
Yeah, well.
He's still focused on him. That's not allowed. No focusing on the cat.
Come on, sit down. No more. Grab him by the pussy. Lay down.
Oh, my God. What is this, the Donald Trump show?
Oh, yeah.
Trump radio, this is not.
No.
Although
definitely.
I feel like I've been Trumped all over. All right. So if you want to be a part of this carnival Cascade. There is a phone number. Should we invite people into this mess? I don't even know.
Yeah, I want to hear what people have to say. I think we could get some good feedback going.
So that's the mystery Mrs. X voice.
Yeah, Skittles.
Skittles. You're Skittles?
That Skittles is my nickname because when I stress out, I eat a lot of Skittles.
But why? Okay, so why can't people just use their names? See, I'm Steve Green. I'm your host. And then...
Okay. I'm Melania Trump. I'm your co-host.
Oh, my God. You see, this is the problem that I have with people on Facebook, right? The people on Facebook who are like, I'm Big Roller. Or, hey, man, my name is, I don't know, 420 Fun.
And there's always like a 69 at the end.
What bothers me is that it's not the names that they picked. It's the fact that they can't pick their own freaking name.
It's too much pressure.
Too much pressure, my ass. You got a label, use it.
Just saying, they got one right out the chute from their parents. They've been stuck with it for that long, and under the pressure, they cave.
I don't get it.
It's a lot of pressure. Same thing with passwords.
No, passwords are all different. Look, I don't need to know your password to address you. If I'm going to call you by any handle, I would like it to be your handle, not something that you made up because you don't know I didn't made it up.
Okay, I'm going to go by my stripper name. It says the last...
No, that's still not your... No.
Because last night my stripper name on Facebook was...
I don't care about stripper name.
Was Purple Sugared Baby Ginger Chew.
I don't care.
Okay. All right.
That's, it is the Donald Trump show. All of a sudden... The skies open up and Trump puke pours on me.
Ooh, that doesn't sound good.
Back to focusing on the cat.
Yeah.
Oh, this is too much. Hey, not allowed. No, not to be looking at the cat.
I'll put him down.
No, he's still focused on the cat. That is not acceptable.
Okay, well...
He's got to look away from the cat.
I don't know if we can do that.
Yes, we can. Oh, my God. All right,
he's
dog training 101.
All right.
I'm claiming the cat. The cat is not yours.
Okay. Just gonna
we wasted an entire quarter of the program wrangling animals.
Should we say hello to all the people we know out there?
No, I'm embarrassed now. We'll be right back with something that's real, a real radio program after this non-sensory commercial break.
You're getting the full melt.
Your pets aren't just animals, they're members of your family. That's why we are excitedly wagging our tail about our hemp-based product that caters specifically to your best friend. Hemp oil drops are great for aging as well as active dogs and cats, and really all kinds of pets. Hemp well drops are made from virgin, cold-pressed organic hemp oil. Our extraction process ensures the highest quality oil for your pet. With superior taste, smell, and nutrition, we hold ourselves to the highest standards, never using heat, chemicals, or preservatives in making our hemp oil products for pets. Pick up a bottle of Hempwell drops today at select retailers or online at hempwell.com. Hempwell, hemp health for pets.
If you missed the last Full Melt show,
you missed a lot.
Yes, sir. We are just here to get you qualified, okay, for the lower interest rates.
This is a Visa card.
Okay. It's a Visa card, starts with 4, right?
So why do you need the numbers off the card?
I was going to let you know, what is your new interest rate going to be and what you qualified for, okay?
Well, wouldn't it be a security risk if I was to give my card number over the phone?
Sure, we are the ones who send you the billing statement every month.
Aren't you really just a liar? Aren't you just lying about this? Aren't you just trying to steal my credit card number? Oh, you are, you little piece of shit. You're a little fucking liar, aren't you? You're a little foreign piece of shit, aren't you? You're a little foreign fucking puke, aren't you?
That's what you are. You fucking piece of shit.
Oh no, you get to suck my fucking American dick, you foreign piece of fucking shit. There you go. That's how you do that.
Imagine a world where patients can use marijuana like any other medicine. The Marijuana Patients Organization challenges the status quo by helping our neighbors to enjoy a better quality of life. Visit the MPO at marijuanapatients.org and enjoy informative articles, engaging debates, and information about treatments, doctors, and dispensaries in your area. Over 50,000 people have registered at marijuanapatients.org since 2010. Join us at the Marijuana Patients Organization today, marijuanapatients.org.
When you need legal help, you don't want to guess at who's standing next to you in court. And when it comes to a medical marijuana defense, it's even smarter to partner with a lawyer before you need one. Based in Royal Oak, David Rudoy has a proven history of not being afraid to take your case all the way to the Supreme Court and win. Find the law offices of Rudoy Law
at RudoyLaw.com.
RudoyLaw.com is a quick reference on your rights concerning Michigan medical marijuana
and up-to-date news.
That's RUDOI Law.com. Call 248-935-9074 now and talk about your legal needs, because at RudoyLaw.com, we don't just stand up for you, we stand up with you.
Wish your skin could bounce back like it used to? Neutrogena Hydro Boost Water Gel instantly quenches skin to keep it supple and hydrated day after day. With hydrating hyaluronic acid, which retains up to 1,000 times its weight in water. This refreshing water gel plumps skin cells with intense hydration and locks it in. For supple, hydrated skin that bounces back. Hydro Boost from Neutrogena. See what's possible.
And now, a Planet Green Trees flashback.
That is the paradox. Like you can't make this, the civil employees rebut the presumption, right? The state just gave $8.5 million to this administrative agency to implement. I mean, the concept there is a little offset.
The police are still seem to be involved in it.
Nothing takes incentives away from police. In fact, it gives them more fish to shoot in the barrel.
Right.
The police are literally the regulatory agency for the entire program.
And why is that?
They needed their cut.
They're the only ones knowledgeable and responsible enough to handle it. This major public health and safety issue.
Don't miss the Planet Green Trees Show, Thursdays at 8 Eastern on Spreaker. It's the Full Melt Radio Show. It's the embarrassment end. Is it all over with yet? Welcome back to the Full Melt Show. Let's get serious now about cannabis, now that we've gotten settled in. The service dogs are all right, because they're both service dogs. Yep, I got nothing from you. Nothing.
They're good.
Oh, my God. That rumbling is killing me. The rumble of the mic. You want to hear it? Go ahead. Just put these on. Put them on.
Okay. Do it.
Put them on. Now turn that thing.
That's awful.
Turn it on or off.
It is on.
No, put them on. Leave them on. Don't jerk them around. Now turn that thing on and off. You see that? Mike knows all that stuff in the hand. You got to hold it still.
I gotcha. So is this on now?
Oh, my God. Say something into it.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay, we're good. That's it.
I thought we were over with this crap.
We're not.
So I'm turning the headphones now down because they're loud enough to speak to New Jersey. There you go. All right. She can hear herself out of my own headphones. But she's 4 feet away and she can hear what's going on. So how am I supposed to address you now?
I don't know. I
Come on.
I'm just thinking. You can take me by my real name. My real name's Wendy.
There you go.
Wendy, like Peter Pan. Wendy. Hot and juicy. It's all good.
Oh, my God. It's just, why all the fantasy stuff surrounding names? I don't get it.
I have no real fantasies.
No, I'm just saying, like we can't even just use Wendy because in the moment that we talk about Wendy, you're like, oh, it's just like the hot and juicy.
I'm just saying.
Conjuring up images of, commercial food.
It's a joke.
Which, by the way, you won't even eat the meat that's in the Wendy's.
I won't. But see, that was used on me. This guy came up and said, oh, you're Wendy, like hot and juicy. And I was like, no, like cold and frosty. So it's not really my line. I'm just.
I've never heard that line before. That's a good one, though.
Yeah.
I suppose if I was named Wendy, I'd have heard that a lot by now.
Maybe.
Have you heard that from more than one person?
No, the hot and juicy?
Yeah, versus into cold and frosty.
No,
where'd you hear the hot and juicy cold and frosty?
I came up with the cold and frosty.
That's a great line.
I think so.
Why aren't you doing stand-up?
I apparently can't even talk into a microphone from the radio. So
no, you can. You just got to learn the room to get. We're teaching a radio 101 Okay, so. There's no burping, farting, or swearing in the studio. That's just number one. That's how it goes.
I thought swearing was supposed to be required.
No. Where did you get that at? The first thing they teach you in broadcasting school is don't be cussing.
Oh, man. This is going to be rougher than I thought.
Really?
There's a lot of rules.
Because you can't swear?
Well.
No burping, farting, or swearing? It says it right on the door when you come in. No burping, farting, swearing. It's a studio.
I thought it said required.
Oh, my God.
So I was all prepared.
The only thing in this room will be burping, farting, and swearing.
I drank a lot of soda before I got here.
Nobody goes into that room. Stay away from the room. You can stand next to the cat box with a crapping cat.
Oh.
And it's still better than that studio.
Oh. It's rough.
It is rough. Oh, see, you got him roughing. Oh, no. See, that's what's going on. See, the studio dog is going nuts already. It's just absolutely crazy. Hey, 9. Other studio dog. Okay, so we're back to wrangling dogs again. How about Jace, you get over here? Hey, come on. I'm not playing. Oh, he knows I mean business, but he's just paying me no attention. Did we ever sneak in anything related to marijuana yet? I'm just doing a traffic meter check. Well, how many times have we actually talked about marijuana on the marijuana show?
Earlier.
It's 20 minutes into the marijuana show. Where's the marijuana? That's what I want to know. That's what I want to know.
All right, let's do it. What's going on this week?
I'm still trying to get ashes off the desk.
So,
all right.
What's the newest news? There's some more recreational states.
That's what I started. That was the headline.
Did Maine actually get passed? Because I know it was like touch and go there.
I'm going to do it this way. Wait a minute. I got to do it a different way. Hold on. Where's the other phone? Oh, the other phone is missing. That can't be. Can you help me fetch the other phone?
I'm afraid to move because every time I move, I make noise.
Well, you can always. Okay, I can do that. Now you can turn the mic off without killing you, without killing everybody else. All right. So I'm just going to call the other phone. Ready? Is he chasing after that cat still?
I had him tied to the chair and I forgot.
Oh my God! All right, I'm calling the other phone. We're still waiting. We're still on the countdown to marijuana talk.
Anytime.
There it goes. There, we found the other phone. I just burped in the studio. You made me burp in the studio. Okay, I burped in the studio. All right.
I think that means that's a waiver.
You see, the problem is. Oh, wait a minute! I didn't even think about it. Okay, I think I can play the phone back through this thing because it's got the Bluetooth. I got the Bluetooth. If it works, does it work? I got to turn it on first and see if it'll even. I think it might be dead. Yeah, the Bluetooth is dead. Okay, so I can't do it through that phone. So I got to send it to the other phone, which sucks. I really wasn't counting on that. All right, I can do it this way. I wanted to play you some audio from. Usually I play the audio through the phone, but see, iPhone went and changed everything. You need to get back, and this one needs to go to his spot. We're not used to wrangling two dogs in the studio at the same time because you can't maintain control of one. As soon as you maintain control of one, the other one's out goofing around. And this one is still focused on the cat, which is not allowed. He's not allowed to focus on the cat. No, he's not allowed to focus on the cat, period. It's going to cause problems. Yeah, he's just got to look the other way. There you go.
That's it. These are not the droids you're looking for.
He's still focused on the cat.
No, let's just ignore that.
No, it's bad news. It's bad news, I'm telling you.
Nothing's going to happen.
I've got the mic off. Your mic's off. Go ahead. Okay, we found the phone. So is your mic back on? Say something.
I'm saying something.
All right, say something.
Say something.
No, I got you. So you were saying.
Okay.
No, you were saying.
I don't remember now. We were talking about cannabis. Did Maine pass?
Oh my God.
Because it was like split hair. It was like they didn't even know they were going to do a recall. They were.
I am not going to let you help me splinter this show further yet because I was already heading into another place. Now we're already splintering into Maine. So because we already have hard enough time, focusing on the show already as it is. Adding additional splintering is not going to work.
I was just trying to talk about cannabis. You told me that's what we were supposed to do.
No, I was trying to figure out what you were saying before you turned the mic off, and then you went to Maine.
That's so in the past already.
I know.
We got to move on.
All right, so here's the deal. But I still see. So what I started to say was, I usually play this stuff through the phone. I play it back through the phone, through the board, through the soundboard. And there's a cord that connects here, right?
Okay.
But Apple went and switched everything up and took that button away from me, took that spot where I can plug the phone
on the
in.
new phones, right? And they were supposed to do like a little wireless transmission instead with the new ear set.
That's what I'm saying. I got the wireless receiver up there, but it's dead. It's battery powered, and it's dead. So that's a problem. So now, in order for me to play back those things, because I usually don't pick up the mail on this phone. I suppose it could, though. Ugh. I've got the other phone, and I can plug that one in. Oh, it's just a big abortion. Back to Trump land.
Trump land.
It's just like Trump land. All right, I'm remiss about that. So, all right, let's see if we can do this another way. Because if I don't play you these pieces, and you know what's even worse about this? Because I can't preview them on the phone. It's going to make it so that so that when I go to play the piece for you, it'll actually. I'm not trying to do Internet Explorer. What the hell is going on over there?
Oh my God, Internet Explorer? Do they still have that?
I can't even believe they're still using it.
I didn't think that was possible.
All right, so I got to go to. Let's go to Gmail because that's where I get this stuff at. Okay. It's in my Gmail.
All right.
So can we go down there? It's gonna make me click. It's so painful. See, I'd already be tuned. I'd have tuned out a half an hour ago before the show started.
I know, but this is just a little growing pains.
No, way beyond growing pains.
I'm not fully trained in this. I mean, we have to take that into consideration. That, like, I'm always in the background watching people for the most part. Like, I have a lot of opinions about things, but I like to watch people. So until people do something interesting, there's something to comment about. I'm not one of those people just to stand up there and just start riffing.
All right, we got Dave on the phone. Dave, hello.
Hey, how you doing, Steve?
We're doing well.
Hi, Dave.
Dave.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm going to let you talk to Wendy for a second, Dave, while I'm looking for something. Hold on.
Dave, yeah. Okay, hold on, Dave.
I don't know the backstory to Wendy, so I'm not listening live. I don't know entirely what's been discussed. So.
Oh, well, I haven't done any intro. I wasn't even allowed to say my name yet.
Yes, you were. I gave you plenty of opportunity. Came out as Fairyland.
Well, basically, I'm a community activist, I would say, and I'm very interested in cannabis issues. I'm also really big into disability rights and that sort of thing. And, Steve said, hey, you got a couple of things to say about cannabis? And I'm like, yeah, let's give it a shot. So that's my background.
Oh, crap. I see what's going on. All right. Wow. Cool.
Yeah.
So, I guess I come in as a Parkinson's disease patient.
Okay.
And so I think we may have some threads in common as far as disability and cannabis go. So,
I mean, I'm a patient too, and I literally could have a bag full of pills that I could be on now if I wanted to be. All kinds of pills, and I'm not on any of them now. So.
Yeah, well, that's great. Hopefully, I don't know if you're a Michigan resident or.
Oh yeah, I'm a Michigan resident. Yep. And
I'm not, and so I think that's part of the discussion is that as far as a lot of the great bounds and leaps we've made, I'm in the Midwest as well, and there's other states that are falling or lagging behind.
Well, I think what's going to happen. There's going to be an argument where someone's going to say it's not fair. There's going to get to a point where it's going to say, well, when half the country has cannabis but the other half doesn't, there's going to get a point where there's going to be a tipping point and people are going to stop and say, look, this isn't fair that you get to treat for your cancer, but I can't.
Right.
So
right.
I'm hoping
right.
that's what gets better. And it's not fair to the other people in the United States that, have cancer and other serious disease that can be seriously helped and healed. And it's just a policy that keeps us from reaching out to those people in the way that we need to. But hopefully things are changing. That's changing, and that's the good news from the election.
Well, right, and I hope that that I'm here to represent myself as the part of the Parkinson community that in a sense I feel is underrepresented. In the bigger picture, I know a lot of there's a lot of advocacy around cancer and chemotherapy and epilepsy and things of those nature, but I don't know and multiple sclerosis. In the bigger scheme of things, but I think that we're kind of underrepresented. And being a young onset patient, I got a family to support. I got work to do. The reality is that I think the more awareness we can bring, in general, and to try to help bridge, other communities that are involved with serious illness and disease. I think, the better off we're going to be. So, hopefully, that's my goal, I guess.
Well, that's cool. I mean, education is key. I mean, you think about it. I don't know if you heard, but like the Silver Hair Tour was like an education thing that was done in Florida by actually a gentleman that used to be like a long-time drug runner, Pletcher or something like I can't remember, Plushman something. And he basically went around to these senior centers and gathered the elderly people and say, look, you can get off all your pills. You don't have to be in all this for anxiety or pain or, And he educated people. And look, now Florida passed it. And now these people have another opportunity to heal themselves without the side effects of pharmaceuticals and chemicals running through your liver. And, and you can medicate as needed. Once you take a pill, you're hostage to that pill. And it's different with cannabis. You can say, look, here, I'm gonna try a little bit of this and see how I feel in 15 minutes. Oh, I still have pain? Nope, let me take a little bit more. So
or at the very least use it, more as an adjunct therapy to what regimen you may already be on. So, in my instance, it may not cure.
Right.
There's no cure for what I have, but all the other medications that I'm on, this can help alleviate, some other elements of my suffering, I guess.
Well, the main thing is that
it
fights inflammation, and most of the stuff going around in a lot of these different disease areas it's inflammation. Your body is inflamed. It's telling you it hurts, and that's your feedback. And I mean, this is what they've proven, that cannabis reduces inflammation. It reduces amyloid plaque in the brain for Alzheimer people. Now, I'm not making medical claims, but
Connecticut has approved Parkinson's for medical marijuana.
Yeah, Connecticut. Yay, Connecticut. Yay.
I'm looking for other states. I'm looking for other states right now as you guys are talking.
Yeah, so I mean,
so Florida.
Wow, it's just a game changer.
I mean, there's a number of diseases.
Georgia's in there. Sorry.
But when you look at it, I looked at a state map the other day. They literally had only about 4 states that didn't have some sort of cannabis access, whether it's CBD oil only or.
But rewind it just for a minute.
Illinois.
Unfortunately, I'm in a state with in Wisconsin where we have a CBD law that passed about 3 years ago, and I'm not an expert in all things, but by any means. So, but essentially, what happened was our governor passed this legislation in the name of a little girl with epilepsy for CBD only oil for only.
Sorry, hang on. Hey, sorry about that. Hold on, Dave. Just 1 minute. We're getting ready to go to break here, obviously.
Yep, I know.
We'll pick up after the commercial break, but I'm just kind of going through the list of the states that do Parkinson's for medical marijuana. When we get back, also, I want to talk about an NBC report from Florida talking about how they're trying to block the installation of dispensaries, despite the fact that Florida just passed all that medical marijuana law.
Getting the full melt.
Your pets aren't just animals, they're members of your family. That's why we are excitedly wagging our tail about our hemp-based product that caters specifically to your best friend. Hemp oil drops are great for aging as well as active dogs and cats, and really all kinds of pets. Hemp oil drops are made from virgin, cold-pressed organic hemp oil. Our extraction process ensures the highest quality oil for your pet, with superior taste, smell, and nutrition. We hold ourselves to the highest standards, never using heat, chemicals, or preservatives in making our hemp oil products for pets. Pick up a bottle of Hempwell drops today at select retailers or online at hempwell.com. Hempwell, hemp health for pets.
Attention. Get ready to write down a very important number.
Michael does not know how to fail. Second place is loser.
If you have a medical marijuana case and need legal representation, call the best, attorney Michael Comorn.
He's very passionate in the courtroom.
Getting the best outcome requires quick legal action, and it needs to start with one call, toll-free to attorney Michael Comorn. 800-656-3557. Write it down, 800-656-3557.
Michael Comorn gave us our life back.
Attorney Michael Comorn. Vigorous criminal defense.
Play-Doh Compound can help kids practice communication skills. Start by presenting the visual of the letter or word. Then ask them to mold the Play-Doh compound into the shape of the letters. It's an effective way to foster speech and even writing.
Ram trucks are reaching new heights when it comes to capability and efficiency. The Ram Heavy Duty is the most capable full-size pickup on the road today. And the Ram 1500 is the most fuel-efficient full-size pickup ever. So what does that mean? It means Ram trucks are built for the long haul. Ram, America's longest-lasting pickups.
RootMetrics, in the nation's largest independent study, tested wireless performance across the country. Verizon won big with 153 state wins. AT&T got 38, Sprint got 2, and T-Mobile got 0. Verizon also won first in the U.S. for data, call, speed, and reliability. AT&T got text. Stuck on an average network? Join Verizon, and we'll cover your cost to switch.
It's the Full Melt Radio Show.
All my friends are heathens, take it slow. Wait for them to ask you who you know. Please don't make any sudden moves. You don't know the half of the abuse.
All right, we're talking to Dave. Dave's from, where are you calling from, Dave? Did you tell anybody where you're calling from?
Wisconsin.
Dave in Wisconsin. All right, we've been talking to Dave about Parkinson's. You know, New York State is one of the states that also, city and state, I guess, that allow Parkinson's for medical marijuana use. Although the people in New York using marijuana for medical purposes are far and few between, I must tell you.
They made it hard to participate in that state.
Say again?
They made it difficult to participate in that state.
It wasn't just New York. Florida did the same thing.
What's going on in Florida?
Well, the original marijuana law that they had passed down there was the CBD only, wasn't it? They did CBD only down there.
And THC if you're cancer and going out the door.
Yeah, as long as you're dying.
Yeah, you have to be dying, and then we'll give you some.
You have to be literally clinically almost dead, and then they'll let you have a little bit of weed.
Yeah, a little bit. Aren't you lucky?
And it's probably limited.
Yeah, so
it's probably limited, and also the THC level is probably also, you can't have too much.
I don't know, but they do deliver to your door, and they use organic processes in one of the dispensaries.
Where are you getting that at?
I went right to the Florida website and was reading up on it last week. I've seen the dispensary websites where they put them in capsules and they deliver it to your door.
Via what method?
That I'm not sure about, and I asked for them, like, how much. I wanted to know, because they have different ranges of CBD and other things, like 25 milligrams and up, and I was like, what's your price range?
That was actually one of my goals today, was to get somebody from Florida in the medical marijuana program there to talk on the radio.
Oh.
I'll bet you they won't do it.
They're lucky.
Wow.
I'll bet you they won't. I'll bet you they won't do it, Dave.
They don't want to commit.
No, I'm serious. It's difficult.
Yeah,
it's really difficult to get guys from the state level to come on the radio and rep their programs. It just is.
Yeah, I'm not with any program, but I'm just here as a normal go Joe Lunch Bucket dude that has to get by with unfortunately the condition I was blessed with. So
you're in Wisconsin and they have medical marijuana there.
No, they don't. So here's the misunderstanding. So we don't have in our state constitution, we don't have any ballot initiative. So if it doesn't get passed by the legislature, it doesn't happen. The other thing is that they did pass a CBD only. And I don't know. Again, forgive me if I don't know the exact details. But so the CBD only is for epilepsy only. Period.
So it's only for intractable epilepsy.
Right. Correct. And the other thing is that they when they did pass the law, they put some wording in there, some verbiage that basically strap the needs of the patient to where they don't have access to anything. So it's been about 3 years, and I think you'd have to look this up again to check my fact check. But the girl that they actually passed the legislation for died before anybody even got access to anything yet. So that's been like 3 years.
So wait, Dave. So you're telling me that the girl that they created the legislation for, the girl that overwhelmingly won the legislator's support for medical marijuana over epilepsy, ended up dying before she could get it?
That's a shame.
So doesn't that just tell you the state of affairs with legislative passage of medical marijuana? Do you know how many people died or suffered tremendous life impact due to their lack of access to marijuana programs in many states around this country? Even in this state, as we speak, there are people that have not been able to gain access to medical marijuana for their chronic illness.
Just for bureaucracy purposes.
And to my...
it's really not bureaucracy. It's not. This is wait, Dave. It's outright greed. I want to just be clear about that. This is nothing more than outright greed stepping in the way of people's health. Let's be clear.
No.
Sorry, Dave. Go ahead.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Well, the pharmaceutical lobby doesn't want that to pass. Pharmaceutical and alcohol do not want cannabis in their states because less people stop using as much alcohol.
No, it goes beyond that. Pharmaceutical,
well,
alcohol. Wait.
That's a good point.
Wait. Alcohol, tobacco, pharmaceutical, petrochemical. I mean, the list goes on and on
it's a threat.
and on.
But
go ahead, Dave.
Let me interject real quick. So, but seriously, in the alcohol thing, Wisconsin is probably one of the top alcohol suppliers in this nation.
Mm-hmm.
That's the thing. That's the other thing that you have to look at. I mean, if you go to Milwaukee, Wisconsin,
no, wait. I suppose from the angle you're speaking, Dave, I agree. Yes, you have to look at that angle. But I'm saying you shouldn't have to look at the greed of people in commerce when you're talking about people's medical problems.
Sure, exactly. That's exactly.
Talking about greed, I mean, Michigan wants to tax medical marijuana when you go into their new provisioning centers now, too.
You know why the 3% excise tax was added in the Senate in Michigan?
I think I do.
Why?
Because they want to give it to the firefighters that have cancer.
No, they want to. No.
Go get chemo treatment.
No, it's not it at all.
Well, part of it is 5% is going to people who are getting chemo treatment. Yes, part of it is.
Not 5%.
Well,
I'm talking about the 3%. I was very specific about the tax.
Oh yeah, it's 25 of the 3%.
3% excise tax. Wait, Dave. 3% excise tax in the state Senate.
Yes.
Was added to give exclusively to the police. And so what my point in trying to stomp this point home is that the police are an additive to this whole greed situation.
Oh, yeah.
This is all the police have been put on a teat of milking.
Well, they wrote the law. They wrote it basically.
Well, our law, but you're sidetracking from my point. The point is the police have been put on this teat of milking. From the federal government and from all the state governments that mirrored the federal government's plan during the Reagan administration, when Reagan said, "Let's go after their pocketbooks," because up until then you could prosecute them as criminals, but you couldn't take their money, you couldn't take all their stuff.
Their cars.
Now you have a marijuana seed on the floor of a boat that they vacuum up in some carpet somewhere. They're going to seize your boat.
You know what I saw? A stroller. They seized a baby stroller and had that at an auction. Now that's disgusting.
Not only baby strollers. I mean, in Michigan, they took a woman's sex toys.
Yeah, I made fun of it.
Here's a little snippet for you. So in my state, the first offense is a misdemeanor with up to 6 months and $1,000 fine. Second offense, any amount, felony, 3.5 years, $10,000.
Feed that private prison system.
And asset forfeiture.
Oh, yeah. Take the car, take the baby stroller.
Michigan's probably the worst in the nation for civil asset forfeiture.
We have a D-. We're like number 50 on transparency and corruption out of all the states.
So both of you can hang on for a second. I'm going to go ahead and put you back on hold so you can hear better through the hold mechanism there, Dave. So hang on 1 second because I'm going to play something I want you to hear. This is actually an NBC report in Florida, and it talks about, and I haven't listened to it yet, so you're going to be hearing it for the first time as I hear it. But it talks about, I gotta look. Hang on, hold up. ABC, no, not that one. Is it this one? No. Is it this one? Yes, here we go. So this report, if I'm not mistaken, talks about how they're putting up barricades to medical marijuana dispensaries in Florida. Here we go. It might play a commercial first. I hope it doesn't, but we'll see here real quick. This is from NBC News Channel 4 in Florida, someplace on the western part of the state. In Estero, Florida.
Now, can you scroll it so I can read it too?
Well, I suppose, but
because I could have already read it by now.
To start. Here we go. This is like the slowest server in the nation. I mean, I've seen circles and arrows before, but good Lord.
They want to keep medical marijuana dispensaries out of the village of Estoril. They approved the decision.
Why are you going to? You said you wanted to read it. You didn't say what to talk about
I'm just saying I'm
trying to play the video. I want to let the video talk about it, not read it in advance.
But then there's just dead air. I'm just telling people.
We can talk about something else while that's playing.
What's going on in Maine? Did they pass that?
No. God, you're killing me.
I still don't know.
You're just killing me.
I just don't know.
I can't splinter into Maine right now. We're talking about Florida.
But, okay.
So I don't know why this report isn't playing. I'm going to see if I can recycle it. Let me see if it'll recycle. Because if for some reason...
The NSA is recording right now, and it slows down your bandwidth. Everyone knows that.
Oh, my God. She's splintering again.
I'm just saying.
I know. I'm just saying.
If you ask and I have an answer...
Here we go. Let's see if it'll play this time. Before, because it was just like, duh. Here we go.
Here we go.
Oh, we're going to hear the commercial first.
Oh, commercial. I don't know what that's a commercial for. What's going on there? Sparky. The guy's getting sparked.
It's MrSparky.com. Here we go.
Council voted to keep medical marijuana dispensaries out of the village for at least a year, even though Lee County voters joined voters across Florida passing the amendment making medical marijuana legal. NBC2 anchor Stacey Deffenbaugh is live with What Now?
Kelly, good evening. That vote today means that medical marijuana dispensaries will not be showing up anywhere in this city for at least a year. The council unanimous today in their decision, but some residents disagree, saying Florida voters have spoken. A beautiful day to enjoy the park in Estero. Mary Magruder loves to watch her grandkids laughing and having fun.
Good job.
But she worries about medical marijuana dispensaries moving in close by.
I say caution, just because I'm an old granny and I think it's just going to lead up to other issues.
Florida became the 26th state to legalize medical marijuana a week ago. The amendment passed with 71% of the vote, passing in almost every county of our state. Some residents, though, are now wondering what's next.
Just because I do have kids, too, and with people and drinking and driving would also, smoking medical marijuana and driving would be a problem as well.
Others disagree, saying Florida voters...
All right, now I'm mad. All right, so the break is playing. We got to go to break. So hold on a second. Your mic's not even on. You can't talk right now. I'm the only guy that can talk. We'll come back from the break, and you know what? I'm going to pick it up from where she left off. I hate that we interrupted that, but it happened. So what are you going to do, right?
You're getting the full melt.
And now, a Planet Green Trees flashback.
When do medibles have to be tested too? Is that also part of the caregiver?
Nope, that's only for the.
Will they have to be tested?
It's only for the dispensaries.
But there is a new restriction with respect to medibles in that patients can only make them for themselves.
Right.
And they've created new crimes for transfers outside of the caregiver.
They're very specific. But I mean, it's not.
That's what we just talked about.
It's no more harsh than the manufacturing.
No. They can be transferred. The medibles can be transferred from the registered caregiver to the registered patient, but not beyond. And that's how they would expect you to interpret the law.
Don't miss the Planet Green Trees show, Thursdays at 8 Eastern on Spreaker. Promotional consideration provided by NoSmell.com, pioneering the storage market for cannabis users. The NoSmell patented bag technology offers users 100% smell-proof detection from even the most sophisticated of noses. NoSmell.com, so nobody knows. When placing your order for a no-smell bag, make sure to use discount code FULLMELT and take 10% off the entire order. Learn more about no-smell technology at NoSmell.com.
Don't stop chasing, wander while the day brings up. Here comes the sunrise, and we'll see the sunset. Coasting by the ocean with some music, turn it up. We got the whole night, 360 days of this. All I'm talking wide, the memories will make here. That always make you smile.
Happiness is calling at sandiego.org.
When you need legal help, you don't want to guess at who's standing next to you in court. And when it comes to a medical marijuana defense, it's even smarter to partner with a lawyer before you need one. Based in Royal Oak, David Rudoy has a proven history of not being afraid to take your case all the way to the Supreme Court and win. Find the law offices of Rudoy Law
at RudoyLaw.com.
RudoyLaw.com is a quick reference on your rights concerning Michigan medical marijuana
and up-to-date news.
That's RUDOI Law.com. Call 248-935-9074 now and talk about your legal needs, because at RudoyLaw.com, we don't just stand up for you, we stand up with you.
My moderate to severe chronic plaque psoriasis made a simple trip to the grocery store anything but simple. So I had an important conversation with my dermatologist about Humira. He explained that Humira works inside my body to target and help block a specific source of inflammation that contributes to my symptoms. In clinical trials, most adults taking Humira were clear or almost clear, and many saw 75% and even 90% clearance in just 4 months.
Humira can lower your ability to fight infections, including tuberculosis. Serious, sometimes fatal infections and cancers, including lymphoma, have happened, as have blood, liver, and nervous system problems, serious allergic reactions, and new or worsening heart failure. Before treatment, get tested for TB. Tell your doctor if you've been to areas where certain fungal infections are common, and if you've had TB, hepatitis B, are prone to infections, or have flu-like symptoms or sores. Don't start Humira if you have an infection.
Ask about Humira, the #1 prescribed biologic by dermatologists. Clearer skin is possible.
It's the Full Melt Radio Show. All right, so coming back from break here. Sorry about the interruption of the NBC report from Channel 4 down in the western part of Florida. I'm going to pick it up from where it left off. I rewound it a little bit so it didn't leave everybody hanging. But since I have to wait for this, I have to wait for the rejoin music to quit before I play it for you, because they're at different levels, and it would make the rejoin music really loud. It's a good thing I didn't put. It's a really good thing, by the way, that I didn't put your mic on while I was sitting there, because you know what would have happened? There you go. You can't talk without me turning you up. So
Test.
there you go. It would have fed back really bad. Okay, so here we go. I got to clicking back over. Where did it go? It's over here somewhere. Oh, it disappeared. Where the hell did it go? There we go. All right, here we go.
Council voted to keep medical marijuana dispensaries out of the village for at least a year, even though Lee County voters joined voters across Florida passing the amendment making medical marijuana legal. NBC2 anchor Stacey Deffenbaugh is live with What Now?
Kelly, good evening. That vote today means that medical marijuana dispensaries will not be showing up anywhere in this city for at least a year. The council unanimous today in their decision, but some residents disagree, saying Florida voters have spoken. A beautiful day to enjoy the park in Estero. Mary Magruder loves to watch her grandkids laughing and having fun.
Good job.
But she worries about medical marijuana dispensaries moving in close by.
I say caution, just because I'm an old granny, and I think it's just going to lead up to other issues.
Florida became the 26th state to legalize medical marijuana a week ago. The amendment passed with 71% of the vote, passing in almost every county of our state. Some residents, though, are now wondering what's next.
Just because I do have kids, too, and with people and drinking and driving would also, smoking medical marijuana and driving would be a problem as well.
Others disagree, saying Florida voters have spoken.
I don't understand, unless it's because they have to make sure facilities are equipped properly, but otherwise I don't understand the wait. We've already voted, and it should be part of today's law.
And I think they ought to put that into effect right away, because of everything that I read and I see and hear, that medical marijuana does a lot of benefits.
So the motion passes.
The vote today was 5-0. Council members tell NBC2 they are now doing their due diligence and have a lot of questions that still need to be answered.
This is a big, big amendment, and we have to study it. We have to look at who can, where the dispensaries can be, and what kind of doctors can prescribe and so forth. It's major.
Today's vote was only preliminary. The council taking the issue back up on December 7th. There will be another public comment section, and then council members will take a final vote. Live tonight in Estero, Stacey Deffenbaugh, NBC2.
The city of Bonita Springs is also looking at a temporary ban on medical marijuana shops. City leaders tell us they want to spend the next year researching the drug and put a limit on the number of dispensaries. A final vote is expected in June.
So this is what I have to say about all that nonsense. Hang on while I shut this, because it wants to play another commercial. I'm not going to let you be exposed to all that. So you're right. During while this thing was playing, Wendy shared with me the idea that this is Terbeek in Michigan all over again, and that's legal speak for a decision on whether or not local communities can make laws that are more restrictive of wider, more broad state policy. state law.
It's a preemption issue.
So I'm going to bring Dave back on the phone. Before I do, I want to invite you to. We're at the end of what would normally be our normal show. But today, I'm going to extend the program just a little bit because we haven't had a chance. You know, the whole first like 20, 30 minutes of the show was nonsense.
Right, and everyone's calm now.
So everyone, are we sure?
Well,
248-216. I'm sorry, 248-278-8067. It's 248-278-8067 if you want to join the program, like Dave from Wisconsin. Dave, you're back on the radio. You see what's going on here in Florida. I'm going to switch off Parkinson's for a minute and talk about how policy, as it comes forth across the states, starts out very conservative. Aren't these exactly the same arguments you heard, Wendy, in this state when we first passed our program? All the moratorium. This is how it goes.
There's an evolution.
There's a timeline that happens, and the evolution on the timeline is as follows: they passed the law. Then once the law is passed, then the next dot on the roadmap is moratorium. They start setting up moratoriums before there's even a program in place yet. The law's been passed, which says we'll allow for the program, but it's not even, the rules haven't been promulgated. None of the administrative procedures or rules have been made.
No.
None of the application processes based upon those rules have been put together or even printed out or made available for application purposes. So it starts out like this. And in the case of Florida, in this particular southwestern city, they placed a 1-year moratorium on medical marijuana in Florida based on the new law, not based on the old CBD law. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe it also applies to that.
Who knows? But they're not allowed to do that. They're stepping outside of their boundaries because a state law supersedes an ordinance. And an ordinance can give you more rights, but it can't take away the rights the states has already given you. So
I guess the thing about what we have going on here locally is that we've had a very liberal policy in the essence of cannabis over the years within our state capital of Madison. So I don't want to get into the history. I don't even actually know it all, to be quite honest with you. But they've passed local ordinances within our state capital. But unfortunately for that doesn't transcend into actual voting. So our biggest state isn't our state capital. Our biggest voting block is in Milwaukee, which is typically been conservative. So what ends up happening is, any progress that's made, in the state capital level ends up getting trumped by, a bigger city. And so I think that's
afraid of? What are they afraid of? That people are going to get better and stop taking pharmaceuticals and getting drunk and getting accidents? Because they've shown already in those states that have cannabis, they've already saved $165 million in Medicare costs because people switch to cannabis.
And we actually have a huge epidemic of opioid abuse and deaths within our state. So I don't know. Yeah, so I don't know the reasoning, but I can just say locally that when your voting block is from a district that's from a city that's not around your state capital and has any kind of influence, I guess, it's very difficult, and especially the fact that we don't have any kind of thing in our state constitution that allows us to do any voter petition or so. If it doesn't get done through the legislature, it absolutely won't get done. There's been bills passed.
We were able to do it, but our law wasn't good enough. They still didn't like our law. They said it was full of hose. It was too gray.
Well, yeah. Well, we actually had we've got a couple of state representatives who have forwarded bills, proposed bills, and I think, again, you'd have to fact check me. I'm not up on politics, but last year they ended up deciding that they weren't going to vote on it, so they're going to pass it off to the next election cycle.
More people can die. More people can die before they ever decide whether they're going to study it some more or think about it some more. People that have these kids have seizures, they have like 300 a month or more. And they get so delayed in their development because they're seizing all the time. And when they finally do get on the cannabis that helps them, they're finally able to learn to talk, to interact with their family members, to start developing as a person. And why are we saying to people you don't have that right?
Right, and I guess beyond that is that it's so narrow-minded, even beyond what limited thing we have that people can't get anyway, is that the way the current legislation is written is that it's only epilepsy. So if you suffer from any other neurological condition, whether it's Parkinson's disease or whether it's Alzheimer's disease or whether it's Huntington's disease, I mean, there's numerous neurological conditions as well as many other conditions, cancer, and you can go down the list. But you literally, so the epilepsy people can't even get it to begin with.
So it's a
the
joke.
Secondary thing is that the more important thing is there's a bigger medical community that's in need that's not being addressed.
Right. And what they have is a joke, and it's a sham, and it's not really accessible, and there's so many hoops to jump through.
Right. And so
a lot of people aren't able to take advantage of it. So it doesn't really exist then. If you can't really use it, then what good is it?
Right. And that's my thing is that I just want to raise awareness that I understand that there's other states and it's not ideal, and we don't want to settle. I guess if the saying goes, we don't want to settle. Better for best. It's not. You guys probably don't have the best model, or Florida doesn't have the best model, but it's probably better than what we have.
Well, that's an
in certain
incremental
states,
argument, and it's not always a valid argument. It's incremental. Oh, we'll take a little bit. We'll take a little bit. It's hard to move people the other way once you only start with a little bit. I'd rather, shoot for the sky and hit a mountain than shoot for the mountain and hit the ground. And yes, it's better if we can stop prosecuting people and putting people into the system as criminals for just using a plant. It's always better. But we should have full access to a plant. We shouldn't have to ask for a rate or, a license to use it. We shouldn't have to pay fees on it. We should say we have a right to treat ourselves with natural means.
And to get back to the Florida piece that he played, I don't see anybody protesting, Walgreens or CVS's that are being built. So
that's where all the hard drugs are. They don't care if that's across from a school.
Right. So they're willing to go on. Right. They're willing to go on air and say, how it's okay to delay this that somebody passed a law of, but
we're not going to give it any full force and effect. I can just tell you where I am. I have 5 dispensaries within walking distance of my house, and we have never had a problem as far as like crime or boogeymen jumping out of the bushes. People go there. They know it's safe. They want it to be safe because you have people coming there for medicine, and they're very particular about making sure you have all of your IDs and all that sort of thing. And there's a lot of people, even though we have a caregiver system, they don't have a caregiver. They don't have access, and these places provide that. And these are the old red herring arguments. Oh, the children. Oh, what's happening? It's close to a school and a church. Oh, my God. Good.
They've been making these arguments. And it's always been about the women and the children and the churches and, oh, my God, the fabric of society is going to come unraveled when pot gets unleashed upon it. The fact of the matter is pot was unleashed upon human society 5,000 years ago.
Yeah. We're re-embracing it now.
It's coming back around to know what's been taken away from us.
Well, we got to get it back.
Yeah, and I think that's my bigger hope is to just help focus on some of the areas that I know everybody wants to get caught up in what they're doing and whatnot, but if we can raise a bigger awareness to other communities, I mean that's my ultimate goal.
Well, Dave, what are you doing?
Whether it's
what's happening in Wisconsin? How are people fighting back and trying to get real attention on something that is a medical issue? What are they doing here, Dave?
I'll bet you they're not.
It's highly local. Yeah. So we've currently had certain cities that do something through a local ordinance that. I'm not a politician, man. I'll be honest with you.
Like NORML, is there a NORML group meetings people can go to? Do they?
There are, but I don't. They struggle. I mean, they've actually. I'm not saying that they haven't done anything. I'm not going to say that. They've actually helped in certain areas to try to help pass local ordinances, some of which
they get ignored. We have lots of ordinances in Michigan. They just get ignored. You know,
right.
We have decrim, and you don't get pinched unless you have an ounce or more, and it's still up to their discretion.
But so it's largely a more of a decriminalization model,
right,
around the local ordinance level than it is anything else. So you might, if you're lucky, you can get enough signatures to get some local ordinance passed with the help of our local normals and that sort of thing.
We just got to go national. We got to federalize, defederalize.
And so I guess what I'm saying is, if we can somehow collaborate with a bigger community of patients and advocates that are in need, then I think we can help start making some actual change.
So here's a little.
And that's what we need, because we don't have, unfortunately, we don't have the model that everybody else does, where you can pass voter initiatives, and things of that nature.
So
and to be quite honest with you,
why should we have people?
And to be honest with you, right? And to be honest, like the Denver model with
who else is going to make the laws?
The legislators, they're better than the people. They know best on how to make a law. Don't you know that?
Well, we know that's not true, but
I'm being sarcastic.
But
about this.
I know. But even the Denver model, where they took the where they took the they basically anything that went to jury trial on those issues, they voted. And I mean, that's how that whole thing started. And so I'm
just saying, people-based initiatives laws, they always say they're not good enough. And they said in Michigan, ours was gray. Ours was open to interpretation in a good way. But they wanted to say because it didn't say it in the law, we couldn't have it. In our law, you're not even allowed to smoke it, according to that argument, because it doesn't say you can smoke it. But and up to recently, they were even basically insisting that juveniles would have to smoke it, because the only way you could get it was through the bud, or if you made like brownies but with ground up green in it. You could not extract the THC with a butter and then bake with it. So that makes no sense. How do you give a kid who has epilepsy, a brownie?
So, let me just touch on the butter thing, because it's a pet peeve of mine in the marijuana culture.
Okay.
And it's part of what it's. So as a foodborne safety trained person, because I was trained professionally as a chef.
Okay.
You don't combine fatty acids like butter. It's a butter fat. It's butter.
Gotcha.
You don't combine these fatty protein, or it's not proteins. It's just fat.
I got you.
You don't
lipids.
Yes, lipids. You don't mix a substance that's oil based like this, that's natural, that can spoil, with organic material.
I get you.
And the reason is because you shorten its shelf life almost to zero. You've introduced bacteria in the very handling of the. You injected bacteria into the butter, because it's going to be present in the bud material unless you've heated it ahead of time and killed any bacteria. But most people don't even know this. Right. They just melt down the butter, throw the marijuana in there, and it's all good to go. Let it soak and do their thing. I do not encourage anybody to make marijuana extract for food purposes, for eating,
the point
using butter. I just wanted to that's not. I mean, your point is.
My point is that the law doesn't, just because it doesn't say something doesn't mean it should be banned. The law usually says unless it's something's really restricted, you should have access to it.
I'm just alerting people that if you're going to make food-based
products,
alert. Yeah, don't make them with butter.
Don't do it with butter.
Everybody talks about making marijuana products with butter, and I'm just saying that a lot of people end up sick that way because they make it and then it goes beyond its shelf life. They put it in the fridge, they store it, and then they put it in a recipe, and it's gone rancid, and they don't even know it.
Well, this is just some more things, which I do believe that there's nothing wrong with having products that have been tested and they have a certain dosage, and you can reliably rely on it. But that doesn't mean that what you make for yourself has to be for that same standard in your own home. And that's what's wrong with the dispensary model, is because they're going to regulate things to death.
There's no, I don't agree with good, vigorous regulation as long as it has a purpose attached.
Right.
But the because the regulation that they put forth before, it wasn't really a regulation. It was just an interpretation of the existing law. that said that marijuana extracts are not protected under the law
Right,
because
they're not usable.
They're not considered usable marijuana under the definition in the act, so you can't use it. So, but it's
I could
just
use it.
it's just the same thing as the other thing. It's just a different form of it. But they don't want you to do that because it didn't specifically give you the permission to do it. So anyway, my point is this: if you're going to make food, there's a much safer method to make extracts for food, and I would use a solvent-based extract. And melt that down in whatever butter fat you're using. If you can melt that down in butter, and that's not going to spoil your product because there's no organic material in it. It's just the medicine.
Well, I'm a vegan, so I'm not into the butter thing anyhow. So
Right.
we're way past that.
Well, you guys are.
I am. I'm just
But
saying the
people
butter's
who-
not an issue for me.
For you, it's not.
Personally.
But for you, it's not. But for the 98% of the people who are listening to this show, it
I think
would
we should put out a
definitely be.
PSA, a new PSA for people. I'm going to make you record it. Medical alert. Medical alert.
Why does everything has to be one extreme or the other?
It's not, but it's like, if there's a real problem and 98% of the people are unaware of it, I
think that this is a common misperception about foodborne safety when it comes to making medical products with marijuana.
Yeah. There's a good way to do it and a bad way to do it. We all know that.
Foodborne illness is what more
It's
properly
not
put.
funny. The one in 6 pieces of chicken has the C. diff on it. 1 in 6 pieces.
Well, it's less than 1 in 10 that also is contaminated with salmonella.
Not your friend.
No, salmonella is a very dangerous illness, especially for people who have immunocompromised positions.
My mom went into the hospital for 6 days with a C. diff. It was not a pretty thing. She got completely dehydrated.
The kind of C. diff you're talking about is prevalent in elderly people, and it usually it's the same thing. It's spread. It's found in many places like what's the other bacteria that they get?
The shingles?
No.
I like the name shingles.
Shingles isn't communicable.
No, but it's like a roof thing. Never mind.
Splintering on me.
I'm sorry.
So you derail me when you do that.
I'm sorry. And the cat's not helping. The cat is hissing at my dog. And then she came up and
let
licked
the dog focus on the cat.
No, the cat came over and licked the dog in the nose. You weren't watching.
Yeah, because
they were fine.
The cat likes the dog.
They like each other, but there's just now's not the time.
But the dog wants to focus on the cat.
I know.
You got the studio dog.
We got the studio service
two
dogs.
Studio service dogs.
Yes. Yeah, and we just
and a road cat.
And a rogue cat. And does this one see all the way, or is this one blind?
That one sees all the way. He's just old.
He's just old.
He's old and cantankerous, but very, very, he's very tolerant to dogs. Like, there was a big snapping pit bull, and he just stood there and let his fur blow past. He's just barking right in his face, and the cat's like, oh, okay, whatever.
Yeah.
You're a pit bull. Yeah, I got it.
Gotcha.
He doesn't much care. He'll bounce away a little bit. He'll be like, what the hell was that? But then he'll just get curious and walk back up to it.
Well, my dog loves cats, but this is a new cat, and until he gets used to cats, he's kind of more like, I want to see that cat.
Totally off point. So we were talking about
cannabis.
Yes, and we were talking about
Maine
concentrates. No, you keep flipping back to Maine.
Concentrates. Okay, so
you can't even re-splinter off your own splinter.
I want to talk about the fact you're not supposed to use butter with your. That's what we were going. We were talking about butter.
We were talking about that, and I'm saying solvent-based.
There we go.
Solvent-based extracts are a much safer method.
And what would you use as a solvent? Everclear? What would you use?
Anything. It could be bubble hash. It could be.
What's your solvent?
It
Everclear?
doesn't matter. Bubble hash should be water.
Okay,
Water's a solvent.
That's good.
Butane.
Butane?
Butane is a solvent.
Some states don't like that anymore.
It doesn't matter. I'm saying it's a safer way than using butter.
CO2.
It's a safer method than using butter. Because you're not putting the reason. Okay, have you ever seen marijuana butter that's not green?
And I know all about this, but yes, and I understand why they're green. But go ahead with it.
It's the chlorophyll. The chlorophyll is part of the chloroplast. It's an organic component.
I took botany.
It goes in there and it breaks down. It rots. The same thing that it's going on in a compost pile, for crying out loud. It's rotting in the butter, and then you're going to eat that. It's
yummy.
It's a terrible way of. Now you could, as long as you used all the butter right away, no problem.
Right.
Because now when the butter spoils, the product's going to be spoiled anyways. You're not going to want to eat it. But
plus it's just cow pus.
It's
because that's what butter is.
It's not.
It's lactic pus or lactation pus from their teats.
Not.
We don't go up to cows and suck off their teats.
It's not lactic pus. Stop it.
Lactating.
Yes, but it's not pus.
Have you seen this?
You're gross. It's not what
Okay.
it is.
All
I
right.
know what you're talking about, but it's
Well,
not. That's not what butter is.
So it's green. It's green dairy products because of the chlorophyll. I understand. I get it. Now what?
Well, yeah. I mean,
just-
so
it's-
you know,
it,
you could
it
use.
shortens its shelf life to the point that you
Okay.
shouldn't save the
Don't
butter
do
and
it.
use it in the future.
So-
I wouldn't freeze it.
So if
I
you
wouldn't
use
do anything with it, but
coconut
not use
oil
it.
or
coconut oil you can do. I've had coconut oil extracts.
Yes, but again, you're going to shorten the life of that oil if you just put the marijuana
My
in the
edibles don't
oil.
stand around long enough for me to anything. I mean, I make them, I
okay,
eat
but
them,
that's
and
not
they're
my
done.
point. That's not my
I
point.
mean,
wait a second.
I just meant the
Dave,
vegan.
wait,
the
Dave,
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 you're not allowed to talk.
Dave, I'm going to take you off. Hang on a second. So
I'm sorry.
that's one thing. That's one thing that I don't let happen. I don't let the phone overtalk people. People shouldn't overtalk anybody. So my point is this: if you take the cannabis and you put it, a lot of people, when they make cannabis oil, for example, when you're
Right.
talking about, like Dave said, use the coconut oil.
Yeah.
The whole purpose, because coconut oil is very expensive, right? And it's also very good for you. It's a healthy fat.
Yeah.
Me
and Shane.
So there's a reason that people use it in medicine, because it delivers directly to your system in an efficient way anything it contains, because it's fat soluble and it's readily available to your body. So if you're going to make the coconut oil, and again, use it right away, you're fine. But a lot of people don't do that. They'll make a big batch because they had it grow. They'll make a big batch of oil. They'll store it, and they'll think that it's going to be all right.
No.
The fact that oil is green is telling you that it's going to go rancid in a short period of time, and that's my point.
Okay.
If you're going to make the stuff with butter or a fat-soluble thing like this, where you're putting cannabis directly into the fatty substance, either the oil or the butter.
So making in volume is what you're saying.
If you're going to use raw marijuana and put it directly in the oil, you're going to cause a problem if you intend to store it. I'm saying it's a much safer method all the way around. You don't have to have this. This is never a question. If you use concentrate and just melt it into the butter or into the oil in your recipe. If you're making a gravy and you want to put it in your gravy, it's already got fat in there. It'll melt right down in there. You can figure out the dosing that you're having with the meal.
Right.
It's a much safer and efficient way of because you're not going to get sick from it that way.
So like Simpson oil brownies, that's the way to go. It's already concentrated. You can.
It's measured.
It's measured. You should know the
So
dosage.
if you put 100 milligrams into the recipe,
You know how many brownies
and
you're
then
gonna
you
get out
cut
of
10
that.
brownies out of it, you're going to
Yes.
have 10 milligram brownies.
Yes.
And it's going to be consistent throughout. It's going to be homogeneous.
And it's
One
going to be
piece-
strong.
One piece is going to have 10 milligrams. The other piece is going to have 10 milligrams as long as you cut them in the same size.
Yes. And it's
So-
medicine.
But a lot of this is why the subject of medibles, even in places like Denver, Colorado, is such a hot topic issue, because people are not familiar with the intricacies of either foodborne safety or dosage or titration. Do you understand what the word titration is, Dave?
I do.
Okay, so
We're on board.
And I experienced it firsthand when I was out there. As a matter of fact.
So for the people that don't understand
you know-
titration, it's just it's a way of figuring out an effective dose for you. You start out small and you titrate up. You don't do it the other way around.
Right. The
Too many
efficacy
people
of it. Yeah.
The reason that Colorado and other places that have controversy over the medical issue in play is because they never had an effective educating platform or public service campaign to educate people about how to do that properly, or put out a rule book, maybe just an instruction book. Hey,
A guide,
the
a guide.
the state guide to medibles, the
Right.
proper medibles.
Not a rule book, but a guide.
Just something showing you.
Well, I
about
will
the
say,
proper
I will
safety.
say when I was there that the bud tender was pretty knowledgeable and said, hey, this is probably likely the effective dose, et cetera. So I mean, at least on the
And they can get their
you
own
know, the forefront.
consistency. When you're working with the same product over and over, you can get a consistency, you can test it, and you know what it is. But when you're at home and you don't know what that is, sometimes you eat that brownie and it doesn't kick in right away.
Right.
8 hours later, you're still in your haze, And until
Right,
you know
right.
what you're making at home or what you're eating as a medical, you need to use caution. That's the bottom line. Use some caution. Learn what works for you. Not everyone can use just CBD only. They've even shown for, even people with epilepsy, CBD does not always stop the epilepsy. Sometimes it needs some of the THC with it. So And, there's
Exactly.
once people start taking these high dosages of concentrates, you adjust to it. So even the little kids that are taking the dosages of concentrates, at the beginning, they might have like a little dysphoria or feel high, but then their body catches on, and now they're adjusted to it. Just like when you get your own prescription, and on the side of the bottle it says, use caution while driving until you adjust. It's the same thing with marijuana. Use caution while using till you adjust.
Well, but the difference is, and let's just be clear about what the difference is. The difference is with these other medications, and you're using them legally, as long as you're not under the influence at the time that you are. As long as you're not impaired by the medication while you're driving,
Right.
per se.
Right.
Then there's no crime committed.
But you can also get in trouble for not taking a medication.
Damn it! Can't even get the second half of a sentence out before we're splintering someplace.
Okay.
But in Michigan and in other states that have especially per se limits, or even without the per se limit, but I'm saying especially in places with them, having marijuana in your system, at least in Michigan, by itself, whether you're a medical patient or not, is indeed a drug crime. They can take your license from you for 6 months on the spot here for walking down the sidewalk with a doobie over your ear. It's a drug crime. So that's the difference. I mean, the medication you're taking that's prescribed, as long as you're not in an impaired situation, it's not a crime.
Right. And you don't have to put it in your trunk.
The fact that it's considered an illicit drug, even with the medical program in place, makes it an automatic crime.
That's just what they say. They say in Michigan that we didn't really legalize, that it's still illegal.
It absolutely is
We're
illegal.
just giving you permission and a defense.
I tell people in Michigan that all the time because it's a huge common misconception that I have a legal garden. No. You don't even have the right glasses on. You don't have a legal garden. You're still breaking the law in every way. You're breaking public health code. You're breaking criminal law. You're breaking federal law. The fact of the matter is, in Michigan, there is a limited immunity for that activity.
Right. And a right to present a defense, and also the affirmative defense if you're not registered.
Or if you're not within your limits.
Or if you're not within your limits, or you're missing some Section 4 protections, now you got to move to Section 8 as if you don't even have a card. It's a lot of jumping through hoops and a lot of Valderol should just be avoided. We should be able to say, look, you have the right to use the...
You're trying to say Boulder Dash?
Valderol, I think.
Valderol?
Look up Valderol.
Oh, Valderol.
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 Falderol.
Is it like Boulder Dash?
Valderol is followed by Balderdash.
So, okay, wait a minute. Valderol begats Boulder Dash?
I think so.
Oh, wow.
It's
the precursor to Boulder Dash?
All the way.
I learned something new every day. You see that? Put that in your vocabulary checklist there, people. Right. Valderol is the precursor to Boulder Dash.
Word of the day. Word of the day.
See, now I feel all English now.
You do?
Are you rambling with the Valderol leading to Boulder Dash?
Get the syrup bucket. Get the syrup bucket.
Bring me a bucket.
Little Monty Python.
What a vague reference we just pulled out.
Well, I got him, but you say I splinter too much. My husband has actually a name for this. It's called connections. I make too many connections.
No, that's what gives you a great memory.
Right.
If you don't have connections in your brain is how you file things.
Okay.
And the more connections you have, the easier access to that file you...
And I think that's all about comedy. That's what comedy is, making new connections.
No, comedy is much about observation, first
Yes.
off, and then finding a way to twist the observation, and then regurgitation. It's pretty much almost boiled down to that. That's the basics of comedy.
But
That's
it's
the
creative.
basic recipe for
It's
comedy.
creative, and it's taking current materials and making something new about it, new with it.
Much of it is pun related. The category of comedy you're talking about is very pun related.
Punny. It's punny.
It is punny.
It's very punny.
Why are we talking about comedy?
Because we did decide that
and
Maine
Gaio
passed
Beelum,
cannabis.
Where are you when we need you? And Gaio, sorry, he does.
Maine passed cannabis. For everyone who's been wondering during this show, we looked it up. Maine passed recreational cannabis, right? Or is it just medical?
Who's the unusual suspect in the South that passed medical marijuana?
Arkansas.
Arkansas.
I have a friend in
Arkansas.
I have a joke about that.
It's Arkansas.
It's Arkansas.
I have a joke about that. My grandfather was from Arkansas, and he had an accent, and he was from Paraguay. Paraguay. Okay, that's what it sounded like every time he said it. And his name was Walker. And he'd just tell people, I'm from Maine, with this thick Southern accent. And they said, you're from Maine, Walker? He goes, yeah, the Maine part of Arkansas.
Oh, my God.
And then, so I tell other people, he's from Paragu. I tell someone from Little Rock, my grandpa is from Paragu.
Where the hell is Paragu?
Right, outside of Little Rock, and it's called Paragould. Paragould.
I thought you were talking about, I thought you were, trying to say a country. Like
it was Paraguay.
Yeah, that's
Paraguay, Arkansas, Kansas.
Oh, Paraguay is in South America.
But his accent was so thick that I thought he was saying Paragu. And there is no Paragu, Arkansas. Apparently, it's called Paragould. It's near Little Rock, and now they have marijuana.
I always go into department stores and ask for credit on account. On account, I ain't got no cash.
Mm-hmm. Boom.
Okay, so here's another one too. Here's an old Buddy Hackett joke. So he would talk.
He's dirty.
Talking about accents. I saw Buddy Hackett on Johnny Carson one night.
He's so
and he was
funny.
talking about how he was in his Filipino friend has a punny way of talking. And so he said he went on to describe about how his Filipino friend always confuses his P's with his F's when he talks. And that one day his Filipino friend got a
oh boy, this is going somewhere bad.
He got a parking ticket. And he was so mad because he got this parking ticket.
Oh my.
But he was saying this on live television on NBC. Well, it wasn't live then, I guess. Well, I guess it
no,
was.
Johnny
Carson was live.
Every night, 11:30.
So he's talking about his parking ticket on live TV.
That's kind of funny because there's a saying, that's who's the greatest hockey player? Puck Parkinson's.
What?
Who?
Puck Parkinson's. It's an inside Parkinson joke.
So wah.
We have a dyslexia center nearby, and I thought, how do people even know how to get there?
So there's a. Have you ever heard of Dart Container?
Dart Container.
They're out. I think they're out in the West Michigan somewhere.
What are they?
They make styrofoam cups and lids and stuff like that. So,
Dart.
Dart Container.
Yes, I have heard of them. I thought you were saying dark, like it's dark outside.
So I knew a guy that worked for the container company that makes. I think they ship these things all. I mean, you go into a speedway, you'll likely see Dart Container cups there.
All right.
He worked there, and I think it's a union shop, and they all got mad about some union policy or about some They didn't like. So it was they got duck fart shirts. So everybody was running around wearing duck fart shirts, because fuck Dart. But it's a duck fart.
I get it. I'm there.
How did we get off on this?
Cannabis.
I postponed the program for this.
Cannabis. We were talking about cannabis, and that Maine passed it.
So Maine did pass it, and I wanted to give you this bit about this is speaking about Arkansas. Let's talk about Arkansas. Hold on, here we go.
Marijuana now legal in Arkansas. Cities across the state are trying to figure out how to regulate the new businesses.
And that includes where dispensaries and grow centers will be relocated within our communities. And KNWA's Drew Petrimo looking into that for us today.
This being a new law, where does it fit in with our zoning, and where are they going to be allowed to operate within the city limits?
That is the question Little Rock City Director Lance Hines plans to pose to the city attorney during the board's weekly meeting Tuesday evening.
I think there's going to be some folks out there that didn't vote for the medical marijuana issue that are going to have issues with where these dispensaries are allowed to go.
According to the amendment adopted by voters, dispensaries may not be located within 1,500 feet of a school, church, or daycare center. For cultivation facilities, the buffer jumps up to 3,000 feet. Cities and counties have the ability to ban medical marijuana businesses, but it would require an ordinance approved by voters. Municipalities may enact zoning restrictions, but they must be the same as those applying to retail pharmacies.
We didn't want them to zone them like a strip club or an industry or something like that, put it in an area where people don't really want to go.
The amendment allows up to 8 cultivation facilities statewide and up to 40 dispensaries, but no more than 4 in each county. While some of the rules are written into the amendment, sponsor and attorney David Couch
But if he wants to own a dispensary,
says other decisions are left for the yet-to-be-established Medical Marijuana Commission.
the application process is going to be like? Are they going to do a lottery? Are they going to do a scoring system? Exactly how are they going to determine who gets the dispensary and cultivation facility licenses?
Well, make sure you...
It feels good.
Oh, no. All right. I'm going to bring Dave back up. I always put Dave on hold so he can hear the show. They always want to play, if you ever play this content on the internet, they'll play a commercial before you watch anything, and then after you get done watching it, they'll make you watch another one. So, Dave, you see how these places, when it comes on board, how all the conservatives come out and all the pushback happens.
All the lies.
I think there's going to be more of this.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of rhetoric and misinformation,
No, and they get people's fears up, and their fears are never realized. And I always say, we don't need, when everything looks like, when you have a hammer, everything looks like a nail. And people want to make a problem when there isn't a problem yet. And we haven't had any problems where I've been. I've never had, riots in front of the dispensaries, kids getting high, marijuana jumping in front of people in front of a school zone and attacking them. It doesn't happen.
The fabric of society basically has not fallen apart.
No.
And nobody's jumping off roofs.
No. No one's getting high and driving and just going nuts. People don't do it. They stay home and smoke.
I think it's you really have to humanize the issue because a lot of those people, are the same people that, until their grandson or
their granddaughter
or their dad or somebody is affected by it, and then they see, what the true potential is when they start to be, informed and maybe start, I wouldn't say converted, but
they humanize the issues, and they don't. It's not just stoners getting high. It's real people with real medical conditions. It's the guy who he's been seizing up all his life, and now he doesn't see.
That's just the way to open the doorway to conversation.
We have to educate people and say.
I'm just saying that's the I got to finish the sentence for crying out loud. That's just a way to open up the doorway to conversation. If you're going to have meaningful education about something, like you said, you've got to have a way to open the door. However, I say that's a door that doesn't even necessarily need to be opened, because the preface, I think the door that's open before you get to that door is the idea that even if it's not a medical patient, that this is a harmless substance that has zero negative effect on the fabric of society as a whole and was only made illegal in the first place to control people as a racist position.
Yeah, definitely.
Exactly.
And then when they found it a difficult proposition to maintain in the face of what people knew in the 30s as cannabis, they just knew as cannabis. They didn't know about pot. They didn't know about weed. They didn't have all these terrible.
It was in the doctor's medical bag.
Look, they outlawed marijuana because marijuana was the Mexican slang term for it was the Mexican slang term. It is a Spanish Mexican slang term for weed.
Gotcha.
But it was it's a term used in the pejorative.
Right. It's got something attached to it.
It's negative.
Yeah.
Being the nerd that I am, I actually have old pharmacopoeia books from 1928 and up to 1941. With that in there. And
my point is that they didn't outlaw cannabis. They didn't come to the public and talk about outlawing cannabis because people knew cannabis is about something they had in their doctor's bag and it kept their kids sleeping at night when they were colicky or there were lots of uses for cannabinoid-based products, and every doctor had them in his bag. I mean, this is a common remedy for many different things, and it was too easy. It was too easy to call it the snake oil of the past because it was a remedy for all things. I remember we used to have some wallpaper on the wall in my bathroom as a kid, and it was full of all of the old ads from the middle and late 1800s. About elixirs and promises to get rid of gout and diarrhea, baldness and infertility with the magic wonder of sulfur water. Or whatever it was that they were selling, whatever snake oil it was they were selling. And this is really easy if you took all the properties that marijuana has a direct beneficial effect on and put it on an ad and old-timey it up like that, you could have pasted it right up next to one of those old-timey ads on that wallpaper and wouldn't have noticed the difference from the snake oil they were really selling back then.
Right.
So it's an easy what do I want to call it? Scapegoat.
Right.
It's an easy thing to cover up with a costume and call it the boogeyman.
Well, they were vilifying the Latin population, the jazz component, where a lot of African Americans were participating in the speakeasies, and this is a way for them. Also with
coming up in the 60s, remember the time period that this happened. This is in the late 60s when the civil rights movement has taken hold. The face of the nation is changing politically, and also the population is shifting drastically from where it was before. And you've got this inner city pushback from Black America about racism that is still prominent, dozens of years after the Civil War was over.
And even Nixon said he wanted to get rid of the Jews and the black problem by limiting the marijuana because it was associated with them. That's what he wanted to do.
And just to add to that, he commissioned probably one of the most in-depth studies, the Schaefer report.
Schaefer report?
Yeah.
And they said it wasn't harmful, and he didn't want to listen to that.
Right, and everybody ignored it, and he progressed with his,
And 40 years later, we're still suffering.
The Schaefer report was equivalent. They turned it into Chernobyl. The Schaefer report. I mean, they buried it. They burned it.
Yeah, I mean, they came back and told them. I mean, these were medical professionals. I mean, that's the thing that boggles my mind is how
it wasn't about the safety. It was about a way to find out whether they could shut down the Jewish psychotherapists, the people coming back from Vietnam that had been smoking over there and had some freedom and came back and was dealing with their PTSD here. And they didn't want them to have that freedom. Meanwhile, it's the rise of pharmaceuticals. The rise of pharmaceuticals for all those issues at the same time.
Well, they created an industry by creating prohibition. Well, first we'll make a ban, and then we'll make a solution to the ban.
They didn't want the competition.
So you create the problem and then sell people the solution to it, which is what they did.
And so when you have a hammer,
and at the same time,
was like a nail.
And like you say, this was in let's face it, the Controlled Substance Act was wholly an instrument of President Nixon.
Right.
Richard Nixon was the only one responsible for this. And if you look back at the Nixon tapes, he openly discusses Negroes, as he called them.
The Jews.
And how
the hippies.
And the hippies and how this counterculture, sex, drugs, and rock and roll wing of the United States
was a danger
citizenry was going to take over the politics of the nation and flush our great country down the drain.
Right. Meanwhile, we put everyone in prison for it now, and there's a private prison complex.
Well, this is what I'm saying. They found a way to create industry out of that prohibition, and it wasn't just the prison industry. It was police unions and police as a whole. Yeah. They found a way to save tax money by going after people by charging the criminals with that duty of payment for their own enforcement.
Then all the forfeiture booty.
Which is really nothing but just a license to steal. It's an end run around the Constitution, which says there is no unreasonable search and seizure. These are the things we ran from England about.
Right.
I mean, forced quartering, unreasonable search and seizure, the idea that somebody from the state could just come and take your private property at whim, which is what they're doing with this drug policy.
Right.
And it doesn't even need to be a drug policy. It could be a crime of any type. They could say that you're hiding mail here. You're hiding U.S. mail on the premises. We're seizing all your property.
Or your taxes. Anything to do with a basis that it's a crime that they can take the fruits of.
I'll give you another example of a drug military warfare style invasion of private property over something that wasn't really dangerous at all. It was just information.
That's the most dangerous thing.
So you know that the FDA is extremely critical about claims about medicine.
Right.
And so if you talk about the word cure, if you use the word cure, and you're talking about a particular illness and you're talking about a remedy to that illness that you're calling a cure, if it hasn't been through the FDA process and you're selling a book about natural remedies,
cures,
they're going to come and take your shit down. And they did. They chased, who's that guy that used to see him?
Kevin Trudeau.
Kevin Trudeau, that's the guy.
That huckster.
So you've seen Kevin Trudeau, but they raided his house. They chased him to France.
Oh, jeez.
I think he's in prison now. Didn't France give him up? I think they extradited him, and I think he went to prison. But he's in prison right now over selling natural remedies on the internet and on television.
It's too much competition. They don't want that competition.
He called it a natural cure. So they said you can't sell that book. And the Federal Trade Commission broke down the doors of his house with a no-knock raid and stole all his books and shut down his bank accounts, seized all his assets that they could find. And he boogied his way to France. Started walking around in France with living on his millions over there with his wife. But I'm just saying, the idea of the control of influence, money, power, knowledge, it goes right down the vein with the prohibition of marijuana. Its inception from cradle to grave.
What I've noticed is at least there's an evolution that occurs with the education. The people, this is like when it opens up in each state, there's a transition that happens. People start learning about it. They get access to it. Everyone's into the bud at the beginning. And then all of a sudden they're like, oh, now there's concentrates. Now there's this. Now there's capsules. There's suppositories. There's creams. And there's so many ways to use it. But it takes time before the information gets through. And people learn it's not just about smoking.
What's crazy about this is that in the face of the federal policy on prohibition of marijuana being a Schedule I substance, the most dangerous of dangerous.
More dangerous than heroin.
It's unsafe for use under a doctor's supervision. That's how dangerous it is.
Any terms.
It's highly addictive and most likely to be abused.
But they have a patent on it.
But there's a patent on its medical neuroprotective qualities.
3 of them.
6630507. That's the number.
Write it down, folks.
Yeah, I'm very familiar with that.
So you've got people like GW Pharmaceuticals, who not only is now
Epidiolex.
Well, they got Epidiolex, Sativex, yep. And there's
Marinol.
There's no.
They're not doing Marinol.
No,
that's someone else.
No, that's I think that's Merck, or Eli Lilly, one of the two.
One of those.
Eli Lilly, Merck. I think they're all the same now. I think one bought the other. I think they gobbled them up. It's like Comcast gobbles NBC, Universal.
Horrible.
It's crazy.
United States corporations.
Yep. It's not we the people. It's not a government by the people, of the people, for the people. It's by the companies, for the corporations.
And by the corporations.
Yeah.
Because they're people. Under the law, corporation's a person.
That's what the Supreme Court said. Corporations are people.
And they can there's just no one to put in jail.
If corporations are people, then I want to know when they paid into Social Security.
Yeah.
And then I want to know when they get a death certificate.
There's no body to jail a corporation, no soul to constrain them. There's some sort of quote about that that's really poignant about when it's a corporation, who do you jail? I mean, who's going to be responsible? You know what I'm saying? It's just an amorphous
well, the Justice Department would say the people in control of the corporation that had knowledge of the misdeed.
Well, they could at least, like the Japanese, kill themselves off when they do something wrong. Go harry-carry and not bring shame to themselves when they pollute their water.
They're going to do that themselves because they don't want to bring shame to their own community.
Right. At least they have some sense of responsibility for what the hell they're doing, and they'll kill themselves.
No, they just have a different centric point of view. Like in the United States, it's man against other man. It's dog eat dog.
But do we
in Asian cultures, if I can finish my sentence. In Asian cultures, they view the whole as priority first. So they don't put emphasis on individual. They put emphasis on community. So they actually name themselves community first, and then find individual at the end of the name, not at the beginning of the name.
I see.
So the reason that harry-carry is an instrument in a culture like Japan, it's because they would want to kill themselves before they brought shame for their deed on the community, because it's that pressure that keeps that social clique in place, the pressure of the pride of the community from which you came.
Well, I want that for BP, so someone can go harry-carry for all the oil they spilled into...
Oh God, yeah.
Yeah, look.
Exxon Mobil wouldn't even exist right now if they did that.
They'd all have to die.
The same thing with BP.
Yeah.
Because the amount of oil that they gushed into the Gulf exceeded the Exxon Valdez spill by hundreds of times.
I don't want to talk about it.
There's still a thick mat of oil down there, crushing off sea life.
But that's okay. That's all right.
Somehow that's been brushed aside.
The weird thing to me, like with the GW pharmaceutical stuff, not to get too off.
You're actually bringing us back to the point. Thank you very much, Dave.
We're getting off topic talking about cannabis.
We're dancing in the realm of BP and Exxon Mobil.
I'm sorry.
Harry-carry.
Yeah, committing harry-carry, talking about Japanese culture. Let's talk about tentacle sex and porn. Tentacle porn. How about that?
What is tentacle porn?
You've never heard of tentacle porn? No. Oh, really?
Okay, but he says something about cannabis.
Have you heard tentacle porn, Dave?
Of what? Tentacle?
Tentacle porn.
Like an octopus tentacle. Now, don't put anything on the video.
No, I'm going to show you.
No, there's not going to be anyone.
I'm not up on that.
It's just it's all drawing. It's all art.
It's all drones.
No, art. It's drawn.
Oh, but it's still probably
I'm not a connoisseur.
I don't know. Is this octopi love? What is this tentacle?
It's fantasy, but it's Japanese porn fantasy. It's culture pervasive.
Oh yeah, I've heard of this stuff. They got a name for
So
that.
here's tentacle porn videos. Oh, should we do it?
I don't want to see it.
Oh, I want to do it.
Okay, I'm just going to avert my eyes.
You don't want to look at the tentacle porn video? It's all animated.
But it's still going to.
It's like Speed Racer with a tentacle penis.
But do they show things?
I think they probably do. It's on Pornhub.com.
But is it a tentacle?
Okay, so tentacle erotica, tentacle videos. I just want pictures.
There's just some stuff you can't.
Here we go,
unsee.
images. Here, let's go, images. There we go, tentacle porn. So there you go. It's all this Japanese. Yeah, look at that tentacle porn.
It's pretty.
It's graphic though.
But I mean it's pretty in a way. I mean if you look at it, I mean.
So this is what you'd be seeing, but in animated form if you were watching the videos.
Do people do this too?
I mean, no. This is all. Look at that. I mean, this is Cloud Lady. It's like cloud tentacles.
It's pretty. It's very fantasy looking. I mean, they got things.
It's
going
extremely
in graphic.
They're
putting things in certain places. Okay, if you know
well,
what
that in this particular one, they're putting things in every place.
Well, but that's the porn part.
It's all tentacles.
But it's the porn part.
It's not. The tentacles are nondescript, Dave. So they're not attached
They're blue.
They're not attached to an octopus or any structure.
But this one's purple.
They're just tentacles that come into the picture and wrap around their subjects and plug appending holes.
Okay, but so how did we get on tentacle sex?
Because you're the one that brought it up.
Fa-dum-dum.
I was going down the GW pharmaceutical path.
Pharmaceuticals, GW. What's going on with GW?
Do we know what's going on? We just named them. Epidiolex, Sativex.
Is that not? Yeah,
Tentacle Pornex
and Epidiolex. I don't know if that's available to the U.S. market yet, right?
Not yet, but they're testing.
And the other weird thing though is even if it was I don't know that with Sativex that how if you want a depression medication or some other thing where they would prescribe something that may not be suitable, but they would prescribe it off-label.
Look, so marijuana goes along with almost everything for the most part, in my mind.
Well, yeah. But I mean, from the pharmaceutical aspect, I don't know that even if it was available here, because
Stop.
Epidiolex or whatever it is for multiple sclerosis, I don't know that they would be willing to prescribe that off-label for somebody who is epileptic or Parkinson's or something like that.
I don't know. It's hard to get your own doctor to prescribe it for what you are supposed to get it for in the state of Michigan.
No, yeah. I'm just bringing it up as a point. How can you get them to prescribe
something like that? But they anyhow, here's an interesting idea about that. We've always posited, get one of these prescriptions that has the marijuana in it so they can never bust you for sure because at least you're on a prescription as long as you're not impaired. They're not going to know if THC comes from a joint or THC comes from your pill. If you qualify,
so
you should have a prescription.
That was for. I think it was originally developed for cancer patients, if I'm not mistaken. But
Sativex, nausea with AIDS.
I would highly doubt that or chemotherapy, but I would highly doubt that they would prescribe that off label for something else.
No, they wouldn't. No. You can't even get your doctor to prescribe something you're supposed to get as far as marijuana. They're not going to go off label for a pharmaceutical thing and get in trouble. Like that. No, they're not going to do that. But we just got to make it available for everyone as much as possible and get people active where they are. You can't keep moving around the United States. You got to be active where you are and make a change in your own neighborhood.
I'm trying. It's very difficult.
So, Dave, what do you think about when?
And you got to stick your neck out. That's the unfortunate part.
Yeah, that's tough. That's what being an activist is about, and nothing comes easy. You know what I'm saying? Things don't change at the top; they change at the bottom.
Right.
So, Dave, what do you think about adding Wendy to the show? Do you think we should try and see if maybe we can talk Wendy into coming on the show every day or as many times as she?
Not every day.
Every day? No, not every day.
No.
Well, we're here every day.
I thought she was in studio.
She is in studio.
She replaced the Mad. Oh, I thought
the Mad Blaster disappeared, man. I can't even reach the Mad Blaster anymore.
The Mad Blaster.
Have you ever heard the Mad Blaster?
Well, I'm not sure. Give me.
All right, so I'll give you an example. I don't know. I'll see if I can find a little old promo for the Mad Blaster.
Okay. Well.
Hold on.
Yeah.
Hold on. I'm going to stop the show again. Put it right back there. All right. Hold on. So, go ahead and say something while I'm looking.
Okay.
This up.
Well, what I'm I'm thinking like I would like to be a guest. I'm just learning how to like interact on the air. I don't have all this experience. I'm a newbie. I'm a rookie. I understand a lot what's going on a national level with cannabis. I'm very active here locally. I follow the news. I've got a scientific background. I've got a legal background.
Well,
I got a couple things to add. I can add some value, maybe.
But the show's on every day. I mean, if
you have to have a sidekick every day.
Well, I'm going to have a sidekick. I'm hoping that we can get Ryan in here next week.
Okay, and I like Ryan. Ryan's nice.
Hey,
Steve, you just let me know whenever. If I would be more than willing to call in whenever you would
Oh,
like.
we
man.
need Colin.
Yeah. I like to have.
I don't know if I had anything
we like
to
to have
the
regular
discussion or
callers.
not, but
We'd like to have regular callers, Dave, for sure.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
We got everyone's got to discuss and give their input into what's going on, and it makes it more lively. Otherwise, you're just talking to yourself into a room, right? You're just talking by yourself into a room. That's not fun. That's not fun. So that we want to add some. We want some timely stuff. We want to add some stuff that maybe is like contest and get more audience participation, and
I can't find a man.
I think I can dig up some people, man. I'll try to push the message.
Oh,
and,
yeah, we're going to
see what I can
develop
get
it.
out.
We want it to be not just dry, not just about the news, not just about politics, but a little bit of everything.
So the reason, I'll just explain to the audience, the reason I like the Mad Blaster on the show is because he wasn't immersed in this topic like I am. However, he participated in the black market side of cannabis culture.
I got you.
So, and I won't go into detail about that.
We don't know anything about that.
We don't need to know.
We don't know.
So, but all I'm saying is that because he wasn't immersed in the politics of it, but was very familiar with all of the cultural side of it.
He had a fresh perspective.
He had a different point of view than I did. And so I could bring to the table the news, and he could reflect on me popular culture, which I liked that kind of a blend. Talk shows like this need a protagonist-antagonist when it comes to being interesting. If you don't have somebody... So I bring a bit of... I'm a little brash. I'm very loud.
I know what you're saying, Steve. You're saying I got to go sell pot in the street in order to qualify as a co-host here.
You got to lift your skirt though. When you do it, you got to hold. You got to show your leg a little bit.
I'm not on the black market yet, and I don't qualify.
No, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that it's good to have somebody that has a different point of view. Because you and I can sit here and agree with Dave all day long, kumbaya, and it's not interesting when it comes to something that I want to listen to.
Right.
Any good story, if you've ever taken English literature, you'll know it needs a protagonist and an antagonist in order to have any kind of
There are no
interest.
heroes without villains.
There's no interest. It's just not an interesting story. So, even when you go back to the Bible, all the stories in the Bible all have protagonist, antagonist.
I agree.
So I'm just saying I tend to be an antagonist.
Right.
I need somebody who's more of a protagonist.
Well, and I'm a good devil's advocate. I mean, we don't have to agree with each other all the time because I don't agree with you all the time.
Well, that's fine, but see, I need somebody that can provide color.
Color.
What I call color. So when you got a sports guy talking about, you've got the one guy calling the plays, right? And then you've got the other guy offering color. He's the guy that's talking about the background of the sports players,
about how they gave
where
a lot
they
of
came
money
from, what their aspirations are, what their point values are. Giving you all the different aspects around that particular player. So I need somebody who can do more color, but from a social aspect rather than from a detail aspect on a particular subject.
Right.
Because they can offer social color where I'm either not connected or not aligned.
Well, call me. I think you should just, call me.
Well, do you got the Skype? You got the Skype?
I have the Skype.
You got the Skype?
I have a Skype.
So
I could do
we could Skype you in.
You could Skype me. Skype me, baby.
So, and then I think Ryan plans on being in studio. So what I could do, if we set you up with a news gig, that you could limit to whatever you wanted it to be.
Right.
But let's just say, all I'm interested if I'm doing news is headline. I'm not looking for detail. I'm not looking for the results of the survey. I just want to know that a survey says, according to a survey in Colorado,
right.
People using marijuana are more likely to get in crashes than people not using marijuana. I'm just saying, pulling a rabbit out of my ass.
Right.
I don't want to. That's the story I want to hear as a headline. The rest of it, the detail of all of that. So much of the time, the part of writing these kinds of stories for radio, and we're about out of time, crap, is to do like you do with legal briefs, summarize it down to a headline without all the detail, and then that gives us chance to later in the show explore some of this topic in more detail.
Right. Gotcha.
So, boy, that's really loud there, isn't it? So, yeah, you can tell, Dave, we've reached the end of the program. Dave from Wisconsin, thanks for calling in and being a part of the show. I don't think Dave, can you hear us? All right.
Barely, yep.
All right, sorry. Well, we're going to go ahead and let you go, Dave. Thanks for being a part of the show.
Thanks, Dave.
All right.
Okay,
bye.
yeah, I'll try to call in.